Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to an exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Mr. Casper Leach is standing by over here to field your phone calls and questions. We have the band The Syndicate. They're going to perform some music. We'll be taking your calls and questions shortly, so stay tuned. We don't have our hemp news segment tonight, so and this is in fact our last show of the year. We'll have some taped and mainly musical shows for the next 2 weeks. Then we'll be back. I think it's the 10th of January. But for now, here is The Syndicate. Thank you, folks. Go right ahead. Or hold it.
You didn't do
I didn't do the dancing leaves.
the
I think
infamous-
everybody expects the dancing leaves. Okay,
infamous
here's the
dancing
dancing leaves, the infamous dancing leaves.
I feel the force.
All right, here's The Syndicate.
If I had $100 for every blunt I've smoked and every joint I've choked, I'd be rich. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And if I could just breathe in them embers one last time, whoa, that high would be mine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I won't wait here too much longer. I won't wait here too much longer to be high here. If I had just one last wish, it would be for one more hit. Whoa, I'll quit when I'm dead. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I won't wait here too much longer. I won't wait here too much longer to be high. Yeah. If I had $100 for every blunt I've smoked and every joint I've toked, I'd be rich. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
The Syndicate. Thank you for coming on. I'm back at the close of the show. How are you, Casper?
Fine, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Hey, I'm glad I didn't wear my beige shirt. We've been like the Bobsey twins or something. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, give me a call at 503-288-4442. We'll be taking your calls about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients. So if you have a question or comment about those, give us a call at 503-288-4442. How's your week been, Casper?
Busy and interesting. I got to hear again the message of ending prohibition in various languages on the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network. And every time that happens, it just tickles the heck out of me because it reminds me of the time when Jack Hare would say to me, Casper, we got to get this message to every corner of the planet and in every language on the earth. And now with the help of the internet and the amazing activists that are working with the Time for Hemp Project and our sponsors like Paul Stanford and his amazing team, we are fulfilling that dream, and it's great to be used as a conduit to be helping so many other hosts raise their voice and get.
Let's talk about some of your other hosts on there. You've got Debbie Goldsberry has a show, and is that just before our show?
It is. It runs 2 hours, and she's out of California, and she talks about what's going on the political front there.
She had done the hemp tour dating back into the late 80s and early 90s.
I met her in 1991 when she and Steve Bloom first sat down to do the interviews on the television version of Time for Hemp back when I was doing the TV.
Then she started the Berkeley Patient Group down there.
Yeah, and she was part of the CAN Girls, Cannabis Network, CAN, Cannabis Action Network team. So she was one of we got also Chris Conrad and Jeremy Draw, who do a program each Friday, each Monday called The Leaf. And they're from the West Coast Leaf.
Right.
So they did a magazine and a newspaper for the longest time. Now they've made it electronic. And then we got Patients at a Time on Sunday mornings with Mary Lynn Mathry and Al Burns, who are bringing so many members of their board and patients from around the world to the radio network. Even the gentleman from Israel who discovered the cannabinoids, his name is
Raphael McCoolum.
Raphael McCoolum. He's going to be a regular on the network, courtesy of them. And we've got, we've got you coming on every Friday night with me on, what's the name of the show? Oh, yeah, Cannabis Common Sense. And we do that every Friday night. And one of my favorite shows.
But it just runs on audio.
It does on audio.
On your network. But it's video on Ustream.
It is.
So folks out there, anyone outside of the Portland cable area that's interested in seeing the video live, they can watch it at ustream.tv.
We got 2 new shows that are rocking too. First of all, we got Terry Joyce from midnight to 2 a.m., Monday through Friday. And she's the winner of the Last Comic Standing. And she's bringing comedians on from the Hollywood area who are also very pro-hemp. And we've now added to the affair TJ the DJ, who brings us 2 hours of rockin' music every Monday through Friday in the mornings right before my broadcast. So, and then, and we're going to be bringing John Sinclair next year onto the network as well.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be adding we got Al Graham out of Canada twice a week. And he talks.
And in Argentina, who is it? It's
Mike Bafari does a show twice this week as well. And he's got a lot of new history that he's unearthed, and he travels all around Latin America. So our hosts are well-traveled, and they're well-known, and they're well-versed in the topic.
Who is it does your French show?
I can't pronounce his name.
Just try it.
No, I can't pronounce his name.
All right.
It's got 3 H's in it, and the first name's Frederick.
I'm terrible at French pronunciations as well.
So, and he even knows I can't pronounce his name, but that's okay. He can't pronounce mine. But we're still working together as a team to get the message out. And a lot of people from Paris, France, according to our statistics, are tuning in. So by having him on our network, he is able to raise the voice of the marijuana movement in his country and bring onto his program.
Other French-speaking countries.
Yes, and bring onto his program other patients and other researchers and doctors and lawyers who are against prohibition to help join us in the voice that is collectively getting louder and louder on the global network known as Time for Hemp.
All right. Why don't you hold that sign there? What we are working on are 2 petition drives. Right now, We have about 20,000 signatures on each, and they are to end adult marijuana prohibition. The first one is a constitutional amendment that amends the Constitution to permit adult marijuana use, possession, production, and the state may regulate. It's a very simple, short constitutional amendment. And we have another one that is a revision of last year's Measure 80. The state of Oregon voted on Measure 80 last year, and we got 47% of the vote statewide, 61% in Multnomah County, where Portland, Oregon is located. We won 3 other counties, but we lost statewide with just 47% of the vote. However, we've seen an enormous shift in attitudes now that Washington and Colorado are legalizing marijuana. In fact, Colorado's first marijuana stores will open up on January 1st. It's still a little ways away until they start opening in Washington State. But there are a number of petitions out there, and we'd like to get you involved in our petition drive, so please give us a call at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. You can come by our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard, pick up petitions, or you can go on the internet and take a look at it at crrh.org or through our web portal at hemp.org. That's hemp.org. And so we're certainly in the midst of this petition drive. We are gathering resources, and so we certainly could use your help. So give us a call.
Well, that's another thing, Paul. Ringing in the back of my head again is Jack Hare talking about hemp. We got to call it hemp. We don't want to call it anything but hemp. We got to talk about hemp. He named his organization the Help End Marijuana Prohibition Organization, which stood for what? Hemp. And you've got hemp.org.
That's the name of our organization now as well.
Why is it so important
Help
to keep hammering
End Marijuana Prohibition in honor of our friend and mentor, Mr. Jack Hare.
And I'll ask you the question so you can give the
CRRH.
answer that Jack would always give. Why is it so important that we hammer home the word hemp? Jack? Paul?
Well, because hemp is the main reason that marijuana was made illegal. They never would have been able to criminalize it if they'd called it hemp. That was the typical word. In fact, there's even a word in Funk and Waggle's 1911 dictionary. It was hempies. And that was a person who used a lot of hemp, a hempie. And I don't know, but I have a sneaking suspicion that's where the term hippie came from. Exactly. And so this is the moniker of our political organization that's circulating our constitutional amendment. And then CRRH, or the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp, is our organization circulating the statutory measure, what I call the son of Measure 80, a revision of Measure 80 that's been revised to make a lot of the complaints that the mainstream media focused on in the last campaign go away.
Mm-hmm. And one of the great things I think that you and I have put together with my radio archive and your television archive is the memories that can be found of many of the people of the marijuana movement who have fought hard for these, like Gatewood Galbraith is one of the people who have championed causes of this nature, and that's one of the reasons why Paul and I work so hard is on behalf of those people.
Yeah, and Jack Hare and many others out there that are no longer with us. But the battle continues, and victory is at hand, I believe, for ending adult marijuana prohibition. We have a little video clip we're going to run right now. It's about hempcrete, the strongest building material. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can heal the world. Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can save the world.
It's legal in some of the countries to grow hemp for fiber. And in France, this woman whose name is France Poirier, Madame France Poirier, she builds about 300 houses a year using hemp and cement lime, and she makes a thing called isocyanver, and she mixes the lime with hemp herbs, the leftover parts of the hemp plant after the fiber's been extracted. And hemp does this amazing thing. It turns to stone, it petrifies. And so when you mix the lime and hemp herbs together, you get something stronger than cement at 1/6 the weight.
C'est-à-dire que dans un premier temps, j'ai cherché à pétrifier les végétaux, c'est-à-dire à minéraliser les sèves. Et puis ensuite, j'ai trouvé des archéologues qui m'ont dit avoir vu des sites mérovingiens et des sites égyptiens qui avaient été vraisemblablement faits de ces mêmes techniques.
Madame Perrier has had thousands of prospective orders for her houses from all over Europe. But like so many others, she is held back only by the restrictions on hemp production.
Imagine a world we could live in. Planting seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution. Hemp can heal the world.
Hi, my name's Clark Snell. I'm the managing director of the Now House Institute, which is a nonprofit dedicated to finding carbon neutral solutions for the built environment. What's the point of that? Basically, climate change. We are warming up the planet. That's the initial impetus, is going to be warmth, and then other things are going to happen. It is our fault, and it's our fault because humans' fault, because we are burning too many fossil fuels that put carbon into the atmosphere. It's pretty much that simple. So the solution is also very simple. We just need to stop burning fuels. The way we do that is becoming more efficient. So I'm standing in front of the Now House Institute's prototype carbon neutral building. One of the main components of this building is hempcrete. I'm standing in front of a hempcrete wall. What hempcrete is industrial hemp. The core of the stalk of an industrial hemp plant is called shiv. It's a woody fiber, and it's mixed with a lime-based binder to make an insulation material that you can build walls or roofs with. The reason that we're using it, and I think it's interesting in terms of the whole hemp debate, I think this is the best wall system in the world. So I'm all about hemp. I think hemp's an important thing to push because it's food, fiber, building material. But really, I'm choosing this material because it's the best in terms of building science. And why is that true? First of all, because this is what's often called a breathable wall system. And I don't mean breathable for air. We're actually building an airtight wall, but it's breathable for water. And why is that an advantage? Well, in a typical wall, you have a cavity that you seal tightly and then you fill with insulation. Well, water will get inside that cavity because water that's its job in the world. My body is 70% water. The surface of the planet, I think, is 70% water. It gets everywhere. It can climb uphill. It's through capillary action. It can dissolve any material. Anyway, so what we want to do in a building is create a wall that welcomes water but doesn't rot when it lets the water in, and that's exactly what hempcrete does. When humidity changes in the air outside, the wall can take on that extra humidity and hold it until the humidity drops outside, and then it will let it back out. In the meantime, because the lime is wrapped around the cellulose won't rot. So therefore, we have a wall that can adjust naturally to humidity levels without rotting. That means that this wall will last a very long time. It also means that indoor air quality is going to be much improved. Now we're on the inside of the building. We were talking about the breathable qualities of hempcrete. This is a hempcrete wall with a scratch coat of earth plaster. This is actually a plaster that we made on site with just clay, subsoil, and sand we mixed together. This is another great quality of a hempcrete wall, that we're able to plaster directly onto it without plywoods, drywalls, laths, drainage planes. It's simply the material itself, the insulation itself can be plastered. That saves us a lot of steps, a lot of time and money, and also it allows us to create this breathable wall I was talking about. So now we have the hempcrete interior, which is permeable to water vapor, as I was saying, and then we plaster it with either a lime or an earth plaster, which is also permeable. So then the surface, which is going to be, and the interior, of course, it's your protection against crayons and whatever else is happening inside, and the outside is protection against liquid water. Those things have the same permeability to water vapor as the hempcrete itself. So therefore, we're in the inside of the building. Let's say you're in a shower, or let's say that this is the kitchen, and there's water vapor in the air. The wall will take that on and hold it while until the interior relative humidity goes down, and then it'll let it back out. So we basically are creating a stable interior relative humidity with a passive material, just with a wall material. So that's a huge advantage of hempcrete. It's basically, in the simplest way of saying it, it's a healthier wall. So we said it's a longer lasting wall because it deals with water well. It's also a healthier wall because it deals with water well. Another advantage of hempcrete is that it's carbon sequestering. You remember before I said that our goal is to be carbon neutral. Well, hempcrete actually sequesters carbon. Let me tell you how it does that. First of all, any cellulose material, wood for example, or hemp, takes carbon in during its life cycle, and usually when it decays, it lets it back into the atmosphere. If you take that plant and then put it into a wall, for example in hempcrete, then that carbon is now sequestered in the wall and not becoming part of climate change. So the hempcrete in this building, this one building alone, will sequester 20,000 pounds of carbon. That's a pretty big accomplishment, and it's all thanks to hempcrete. Hempcrete is part of the natural building world. What are natural materials? They're basically materials that are usually local or site harvested or have low embodied energy like hempcrete does. They're also materials that work well with the site. And one thing that's great about hempcrete is that you can create a strong wall of different thicknesses based on what your insulation needs are. That's because you use forms around some kind of other structure like wood that will hold up the roof, and then you form around that and put the hempcrete in the cavity. So for example, in our house here, the Now House prototype, since we're trying to get to such high energy efficiency levels, we have a 16-inch thick wall to get us a performance rating of R40. We could also do a 10-inch wall. So we have flexibility in terms of the amount of insulation that we're going to use with the exact same procedure for construction. That's fairly unique in the world, and it's another reason why hempcrete's a really great product.
Imagine a world we could live in. Plant these seeds in the minds of our children. Plant these trees and grow a solution.
All right, so welcome back. That is obviously about hempcrete, the strongest building. They've built a number of new hemp buildings now, and I know back in the 90s, the early 90s, Washington's Wood Science Laboratory up in Pullman took hemp fiber and turned it into fiber board as opposed to hempcrete. In the fiber board, they said it made the strongest fiber board they'd ever had, a material that was stronger than steel. So if you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at that number that's there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. We have a couple items we'll show you here. This is a package of hemp notepads made with hemp paper. The first paper that was ever invented was made from hemp fiber, and there are a number of other hemp papers out there today. This is an antique, a company I ran from 1989 to 1997, tree-free eco paper. I sold hemp paper pads through mail order and wholesale all around America, but I spent too much on offices and payroll and not enough on new products, so we went out of business there. Right next door we have our hemp flame for freedom. Here is hemp seed oil, here is hemp twine, and the hemp twine is in the hemp oil, and you can see it's causing a flame. This is hemp energy, and this is the main reason that marijuana is illegal today, is because the petrochemical industry doesn't want to compete with hemp seed oil, which would be much less expensive than petroleum products. So we have a couple of questions here, one from a studio audience member. Let's start with that. Go right ahead, John.
Oh, it's not a question, Paul. It's actually more of a statement. I
Go
heard
ahead.
you say the reason that while that may be true, I also know that we signed a treaty with the UN that said that the United States will make no law respecting the legalization of marijuana.
Yeah,
So
we
we're
spearheaded
bound-
first the Single Convention Treaty of 1961 that basically said the members of the signatories of those treaties can't produce marijuana. But obviously Uruguay has now done that, and Colorado and Washington State have. So I know there's going to be some debate in March around the international drug control Board of the United Nations in Austria. They meet every year and coming out with a big report in 2015. And so, but we have a couple of telephone calls as well. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hi. Yeah, I was wondering about this hempcrete you showed earlier. I was thinking about starting a type of program where have people, who need jobs and need work and need a place to stay, and building hemp houses for others, and everyone getting in on it. I just want to help people,
Yeah. Well, that's
I was just
good.
kind of wondering about the actual material itself. How strong is it? Is it a legitimate building material?
It certainly is. In fact, it's an ancient building material. They have buildings that are well over 3,000 years old that were made with hempcrete, quicklime mixed with hemp fiber, made into the first forms of concrete.
Wow, that's very interesting. You guys are really good at what you do. I just wanted to tell you guys that I have a lot of respect for you guys. I'd love to shadow you sometime and learn about your knowledge and all that stuff. So thank you very much. I just kind of wondered about that hempcrete. It's
very interesting, isn't it? I appreciate your call and your interest. Keep
all right,
watching.
thank you,
We
sir.
appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
You're very welcome.
All right, happy holidays. Shout out to all of you. Bye.
Very good. Thank you. I think we have another caller standing by. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller. Oh, they're gone. The little beeping noise always gives it away.
Well, this is a good chance to take time to remind people that there are those who are behind bars who are being forgotten, and they're there because they needed their medication, or they were delivering medication to people who needed it and were involved in some way or another with Mother Nature. And how sad it is to be forgotten. And snail mail means a lot. Just a letter, a postcard with some ink and words on it from somebody who's saying, I'm thinking of you. And if you're wondering if anybody's listening to what you have to say from behind bars to out here, here I am. And make a new friend. I can tell you, email means a lot, yes, and so do getting a chance to visit with people face to face. But
most
snail
people
mail,
in
you can hold
prison
on
don't
to
have
it.
access to email, though, unfortunately.
No, they don't. And the snail mail you hold on to, and at night you can look at the photographs that come sometimes, and you can reread the words, and it's a lot easier to believe that you're not forgotten. So this is a good time of year to get involved in a writing campaign with you and your friends if you want to find a way to make a difference, and you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of time. It just takes 42 cents and 35 minutes to do one letter.
Indeed. Again, if you have a question for us tonight, it is the 20th of December, 2013. This is show number 715. If you have a question for us, call us there at the number on your screen. It's 503-288-4442.
Is it true that when people go into your house and see your Christmas tree, all your ornaments are made of marijuana and all your ornaments have bud inside them, and you got this big marijuana tree that's just covered with lights in your living room?
Not me, but that's an idea. I'll have to think about that.
That must be internet
Have
myth.
you been? Where have you been? I
read that on the internet. Paul Stanford's got a 45-foot marijuana tree, and it's all covered with marijuana buds, and it's like got garland on it, just wrapped around.
Had them up to
big
15,
buds
up to 15 feet tall, but those weren't indoor plants.
And that after the holidays, when you burn your Christmas tree, everybody shows up to help make that happen.
It's quite the bonfire indeed.
Yeah.
We have another little video clip also about industrial hemp. We've run some clips on it the past few weeks. We're going to get that ready, but since the phone call's ready, we'll take that first. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Paul?
Yes.
Is this Paul?
Yes, it is.
And Casper, how do you do?
Hello and happy holidays.
Oh, this is Steve. Actually, it's Kim, as you recall from a few weeks ago. I've been calling and changed my name to Kim. Anyway, Paul, what I was calling about was your. I called a few weeks ago about like how come you couldn't go to Colorado and plant some acres there, and you said that because you wanted to do it here, this is your home, and I know that. So with the new law, if it passes, will you be able to do that? Will we be able to do that?
Yes. We would be
Yes.
able to grow our own cannabis, and we'd be able to grow industrial hemp. In fact, our measure, right now it's Initiative 22, like Measure 80 last year, would allow Oregon farmers to grow hemp, and it would be dictated not by the THC content, but by the most productive and highest quality hemp oil, hemp protein, and hemp fiber. So our initiative, number 22, still does that. And so we will open up the industry here in Oregon. And I believe hemp fuel, fiber, and food will dwarf the marijuana or adult social use market in rapid order, especially hemp energy. Energy is the largest industry in the world. If we can grab a tiny piece of that with hemp fuel, then we'll make a big breakthrough. You know, in the rest of the world where they allow hemp production in Europe and Canada, they require that it be less than 0.3% THC. What they've done, though, to get this super low THC, I call it dwarf hemp, is they have bred out the flowers. And when they breed out the flowers, that breeds out the seeds. And if they breed out the seeds, that breeds out the oil and the protein. So feral, wild hemp here in the United States, not hemp specifically bred for seed oil content, that feral hemp produces 15 to 20 times more seeds per acre than the less than 0.3% dwarf hemp that's allowed in Europe and Canada. So our initiative will set Oregon up so we can grow the most productive strains of hemp for fuel, fiber, and food.
So dwarf hemp, shouldn't that be like little people hemp? Isn't that
You wouldn't
politically
call
correct?
that.
What is dwarf hemp?
It's less than 0.3% hemp. It's the hemp that they allow to be cultivated in Europe and Canada.
So it's dwarfed by potency, not by size.
It's dwarfed because by breeding out the flowers, they have a plant that produce about half as much fiber and 1/20th as much seed.
Why would you do that?
Because they don't want it to compete with the petrochemical industry. Not that we want to do it. It's what they allow to happen now in Canada and Europe. They allow this low THC hemp, and the way they get that is they bred out the flowers.
They're still
obviously, if
terrified.
you breed out the flowers, you breed out the seed oil.
They're
and
still
protein.
afraid of this plant in its entirety and what it can do.
There are people out there whose livelihoods depend on drug prohibition, whether it be narcotics officers or ExxonMobil or any of the oil companies. They don't want to compete with this. They don't want naturally decentralized hemp oil production where any farmer can grow 300 to 500 gallons of oil and pour it right into any diesel engine and turn the key. They want us to continue to buy petrochemical products. And the byproduct, once you make that oil, is an additional 3 tons of residual protein from the hemp seeds and 30 tons of hemp bast fiber and hurd fiber, the stems and stalks. So the fiber alone could wipe out the production of wood for building materials, a large part of that, deforestation for paper making. So it can solve a lot of economic and ecological problems. And we have another film that talks about that. It is Bringing It Home, and we're going to run a little clip from Bringing It Home right now. So let's bring it on home to you.
You said that there's no pesticides that were ever used on this. It wasn't farmed using crops and pesticides too.
Has not been since the 30s.
Amazing.
And if there had been before that, there's no evidence at all. And so very clean, very pure piece of land, which is difficult to find in North Carolina in general, especially in Western North Carolina with all the farming and agriculture.
And it's quiet.
Yeah, beautiful. Just bugs, butterflies, and birds. For us to be able to visit Bailey now at the facility that she's in and just see how she's thriving there with that level of care just really solidifies the fact that we can't do that at home. You know, our lives changed to try to accommodate her needs, which we've certainly done out of our love for her. But we also realized that the best thing for Bailey is for her to be somewhere. And so I said, let's build it. So we build something for her and for generations of kids. I know it's dreaming big. As a father of a disabled child, I don't feel like there's any other option, because there's not going to be a place that I would be able to walk in and say, here it is. I would like for Bailey to be here for the rest of her life. It doesn't exist. My wife came up with the name Canary Kids for these nonverbal children that are either autistic or some other type of special need that can't tell us what is going on. That something is very wrong with what we've got going on in our environment right now. And nobody knows if it's the air we're breathing, the water we're drinking, the food we're eating, the medicines that we're taking. Our thing is, if you look at the ingredients and you can't pronounce it, chances are you probably don't want to eat it or put it on your body.
All right. Well, that's an interesting video. You can find it out there at bringingithomemovie.com. That's bringingithomemovie.com. Tonight, we're getting very close to the end of the year, and so it is solstice tomorrow. So we have the shortest day of the year tomorrow. That makes tonight the longest night. So we'll start getting longer days and hopefully ushering in here in just 10 days the initiation of legal marijuana stores in the state of Colorado. That's got to be exciting, where any adult over the age of 21 can go right into a store and buy up to an ounce of cannabis. I think they're complaining that there's a shortage of product.
I know.
To
I
meet
heard
the
that.
demand.
Now, the feds went running into Colorado this week and did some raids. Now, are they going to go and play games up there in Washington? Are they going to let people like get a business going and wait 6 or 8 months and then decide to come in and play games with their product and go through their records with the IRS and all that, like they did down in California after 215 was initiated for so long and the medical dispensaries?
You know,
were in
the
place,
federal
and now
government in these raids, I think, say they're going after people who are selling cannabis outside of the regulatory model, sending it out of state and out of the state of Colorado. And so, you know, it's hard to say. The people who are involved can actually speak to the specifics. We'll find out about the prosecution there of those cases. But most of the dispensaries, there's 700 of them for medical marijuana in the state of Colorado. And they've been given dibs, so to speak. They're the only ones who can apply for the new licenses at first. So any seller to adults in Colorado, as they open up here in 10 days, has to have previously been approved in selling medical marijuana.
So then do you think that the opposition finally realizes that the war on drugs is over?
Well, I don't think so. I think they're going to regroup, and that arrest was just the tip of the iceberg. But we will have to see. I mean, it's hard to predict, but the public support for the first time ever is overwhelmingly in favor of ending marijuana prohibition. And so I think that is a driving factor. And as long as we can get votes here in Oregon, there'll be a vote in Alaska, there could be votes in other states to end marijuana prohibition, then it's likely, as those votes keep rolling in, that they're going to have to see the light of day.
Here's an idea.
Okay.
Why don't we have an Adopt a DEA Agent campaign where somebody out there adopts a DEA agent and sends them letters all the time, like paper and fiber fuel, how we love you and we appreciate what you're doing for us.
We'd like you to help people instead of hurt people.
Yeah, reach out and just on a regular basis, and maybe try to get together for lunch with them and meet their family and become better acquainted. Adopt a DEA agent. That's a good idea.
That's a concept. Well, you're going to have to organize that one, Casper.
All
your spare time.
All my
you got
spare
that little
time,
break
right.
here at Christmas. You can get that one rolling,
We'll do
I
that.
think.
All right.
Now, if you're out there and you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. Or you can get involved in our campaign to end adult marijuana prohibition and pick up our petitions. Just call us at our office, 503-235-4606. It's 503-235-4606. Or come by the office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard, right here in River City, Portland, Oregon. Occasionally we strike the R out of Portland. And you can call our office or go to our website. You can actually print out the single signature sheets at crrh.org or get to it through our portal at hemp.org. There's that nifty sign.
Oh, hey, you're the host here. That's my job.
Okay, you're the sign holder now?
Yeah, you're the head honcho.
Ah, okay. Well, now you say. Anyway, so those are our main concerns as we enter this. We'll have our next live show, I believe it is the 10th of January. And you're also taking a little hiatus with your radio break. You said you produced 450 hours of radio in the first 2 months of your new network.
I was really surprised. We started broadcasting on October 17th, and on December 17th on my show, hour 420 was being broadcasted with Kelly Christian from KDK Distributors and our guest. And so when we put Time for Hemp to bed for the holidays on Sunday night, we will have produced 450 hours worth of live content, had almost 40,000 downloads of our content in those 2 weeks just from the speaker sites alone. And that doesn't count the people who are downloading from iTunes and Tumblr and SoundCloud and the website that we're at. Mm-hmm. And so we are getting the message out, and it's really exciting to be part of a amazing team like this and an adventure of this nature. So, like I said, to be used as a conduit to help raise the voice of so many people, it's quite an honor. And but like I said, one of my favorite shows is the Terry Joyce Show. I get a chance to be comedic and fun. Mm-hmm. I don't understand, Paul, why it is that sometimes I could be on a show for senior citizens, and if I forgot somebody's name, I go, oh, I had a senior moment. You know, people will know I'm clowning, but you get some kind of
short-term memory loss.
You get some kind of hate mail saying, my grandmother's got Alzheimer's and it's not funny, and how horrible you make fun of those people. When I do any kind of humor on my own show, I occasionally get members, oh, the Cheech and Chong humor's got to go. Your show's great, but you can't have Cheech and Chong humor. Look, people, you got to have humor. It's the holidays. There's a lot of crappy things going on in the world. People are dying and getting sick. In spite of all of that,
we got to laugh.
You got to laugh. That's what we're trying to reach out to do occasionally. And since I can't do it enough on my show without getting bunked from my audience, we can do it a lot on the Terry Joyce Show. So that's one of the things that I enjoy about my new network, is that I can have other avenues to express myself and have fun. So tune in.
We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hey.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Pretty well. How are you?
Hey, you know what? I watched the show before, but this is my first time actually watching it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very proud that you guys are out here doing this, man, and keep up the good work. But the dude in red, Casper, it's really accentuating your eyes, buddy.
I didn't hear you.
Really. Your red shirt's really accentuating your eyes. Your
yeah.
eyes are, I don't know,
makes your eyes even redder than they actually are.
No, that's not the shirt doing that. That's the great herb that I smoked before the show, but thank you.
I could smell him.
All right, bro. Hey, keep it up, you guys. Great show.
Yeah.
We shall. Thanks for your encouragement.
No, I wore the shirt because it matches my eyes.
I see.
Yeah.
It does kind of highlight them. I think he's right about that. So I have a shirt that color. I'm glad I didn't wear it tonight. We look like the Bobbsey twins or something, you know. That wouldn't be a good thing. Color coordinated. Anyway, but you know, you do, along with our posters, you kind of make it a holiday festive kind of thing. It's the green and the red, and almost feels like Santa Claus is coming to town.
Well, if anybody out there wants to get me a gift, remember, I want to burn all my Christmas presents this year. Just keep that in mind.
I see. We have a little film clip we're going to run right now about a movie project that I've been involved in. Maybe it will come out this year. I think it will. It finally was finished this past summer, And getting movie distribution, even for Steven Spielberg, is difficult these days. But this is a new movie you can stay tuned for. It's called The Green Goddess. Enjoy.
The following trailer contains real marijuana.
Legend has it that deep within the THC crystal of the marijuana plant, there lives a goddess. A goddess so incredible that meeting her will transform your life forever.
She's magnificent, glorious, beautiful, delicious.
I want to meet her.
You start with a strain like this, nurture her, worship her. When your mind is open, she will come.
When their leader is arrested, 3 friends will travel halfway across the world, plant 25,000 marijuana plants, and harvest more organic ganja than you and all of your friends could smoke in 3 lifetimes. Whoa, that's a lot of pot.
You're from America? Yep. So you think you can just come over to Europe, grow some weed, and make a whole bunch of money? Doesn't work like that.
All I know is, after how some of y'all treated the son, the Lord felt the need to hide his daughter. And he hid her in the most sacred of sacred places.
They have only one chance to get it right and to meet one goddess. Would you like to meet the Green Goddess?
Okay, so that is the Green Goddess movie. You can look for it at greengoddessthemovie.com. Hopefully we'll see it hit the streets and become something that is available commercially. They've been holding back on the whole video because they don't want to lose their original content before they can try to get a movie distribution deal.
Well, I'm glad 'cause I know you're in it, and as soon as it hits the screens, then you'll never be sitting here again. You'll be slipped to Hollywood, and then you'll be in New York, and you'll be doing the Letterman show.
Many movies out there.
We'll never be able to get a hold of you unless we go through your people. And
you know, we had some guests on about 3.5 years ago, Molly Fry and her husband Dale Schaefer. Molly is a doctor, Dale's a lawyer. The federal government came in and arrested them. They had grown 35 plants a year for 3 years, so they added all of those up and said they had over 100 plants. And they have been in jail now for 3.5 years on a 5-year mandatory minimum sentence. We had them here on Cannabis Common Sense just before they had to turn themselves in. We got permission from the federal pretrial release people to allow them to come up here from Northern California for our show just before they were forcibly incarcerated. But they are preparing to be paroled. But you know, her husband Dale was a hemophiliac and a Hep C patient. He'd received from blood transfusions. So there are a lot of sick people that are suffering in federal prisons. I know you can name some more.
I sure can, and what bothers me the most is that even myself oftentimes will forget these people because I'm so busy fighting on the front lines and trying to get the new research out about marijuana or getting the information out about the next rally. And I don't take enough time my own self to do the letter writing that I encourage you to do. And it is so easy to let people that you don't see get lost in the back of your brain.
That's what it's about, is making certain that no more people have to go to prison.
Right.
You know, in Malaysia, they actually hang you within a day of being convicted for possession of over 200 grams.
This
So
holiday season,
that's
while
what we're
you're
working
enjoying
for.
your medication and you're enjoying your time with your family and friends, please remember those who would like to do the same thing but surely cannot because all they needed was their medication. And those of us here at Cannabis Common Sense We do love you. I can't believe I've been with this family now over 4 years, and it's been an honor
Time
to
flies.
be with your team and
Thank
the people who make this show come together. You have an amazing staff of people that make this whole program happen, and I love you all. Thank you.
All right, we have another phone call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, this is Roberta.
Hey, Roberta.
And I'm calling to see what my son wants to grow marijuana in our basement. What are the legal implications of that?
Does he
is
have a
patient.
medical marijuana permit?
He is a medical marijuana patient.
Well, then he
And,
can legally grow per patient a total of 24 plants and possess 24 ounces, and that's completely legal as long as he has a state permit here for medical marijuana. In fact, if he's a caregiver or a grower for other patients, then he could grow multiples of that amount, depending on how many patients he took care of. But you have to make certain it's done correctly. The electrical wiring is up to code. You have a way to drain any excess water, humidity out. So those are structural concerns, but the legal implications are as long as he has that permit, then he's allowed to do that on the limited basis according to the state law.
And let me just add, it's quite a bonding moment to be able to grow a marijuana plant with your mom. So I would encourage the two of you to work on this little project together. You'll have no idea the memories you'll share.
Well, what about the federal? That's my concern.
The federal government has said as long as you are complying with state law, you have nothing to worry about. The U.S. Attorney here in Oregon said as long as you're in strict compliance with Oregon's medical marijuana law, they will not be coming in to enforce federal law. There are several bills to change federal law as other states outside of Washington and state and Colorado pass laws. I expect changes in the federal law. But currently, both at the national level, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, and here at the state level, both have said that as long as you're in compliance with your state law, the federal government will not pursue you.
Yeah, and what did you say about moisture, or what was that you said?
Oh, when you're growing indoors, you got to be careful for moisture and mold and things like that. So you want good ventilation and good drainage.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We are just about out of time. I want to once again remind you that we have an initiative campaign, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, that we're working to legalize marijuana and end marijuana prohibition. We need your help, so give us a call at 503-235-4606. In fact, we have one very famous endorser who's recorded a little endorsement of our initiative. We're going to roll that right now. I think. Won't be long.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
Recorded that with a little handheld video camera in the studio after watching him record 3 songs, including the soundtrack for the movie Lawless. I sat in down in LA and watched that. So anyway, we need your help on the initiative campaign. Also, if you have patients who need help finding a doctor anywhere in America, from Maine to Hawaii, we have doctors that are helping patients every day. So give us a call. National number is 800-723-0188. You want to plug your website?
Well, I'll make it real quick. Timeforhemp.com. Happy holidays. Hope you have a great new year. Let everybody know that it's a great time to share love. And I'm going to be having a lot of time with my family and friends over the holidays, and I'm looking forward to the tree burning party at Paul Stanford's house on the 26th here in the Portland area. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for watching. Tune in next year and help us restore hemp. And we're going to go out with a great song from the band Syndicate. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is marijuana. Please check out syndicateband.com if you like what you hear. Mary, wanna dance with me? Girl, I'll take you home. Mary, wanna smoke for free? Girl, you'll never be alone. Go ahead, lay your fingers there. Girl, I feel you with desire. Let me make this crystal clear. The syndicate would get you higher. Marijuana, no need, no trail. I can Mary, wanna dance with me? Girl, I'll take you home. Mary, wanna smoke for free? Girl, you'll never be alone. Go ahead, lay your fingers there. Gonna feel you with desire. Let me make this crystal clear. My homie Josh, he got that fire. Marijuana, no need. I can no need. No choice.